In this video, I'm going to talk about how I almost failed in Zimbabwe after living in the United Kingdom for over 22 years. Now, I used to watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I'm sure a lot of you do, of people building these massive houses, double-story houses in these nice neighborhoods. So for me, that became my standard. Like, I had to make sure that, well, if I don't build a house like this, then pretty much I haven't really done something notable. So that was ingrained in my head for so many years. So when it came time to move to Zimbabwe, it became very difficult because to build those massive houses, you need hundreds of thousands. And for me, definitely, I did not have that kind of money. So anyway, what I did now was I started saving up a lot of money, and an opportunity came where I could now buy a house in Zimbabwe. So the first thing I did was I bought a very small house on 200 square meters. So this, I think, it's so small that you don't even have a big garden for you to grow your vegetables or even for kids to play in. So for me, that was a house where if I wanted to come to Zimbabwe at any time, I could just come, not bother anyone. I don't have to go to Airbnb. I don't have to go to relatives' houses and so on. So the house was pretty much a place where if I was going to come for holiday with my children, I can just come in and relax. So when I decided now to really move back to Zimbabwe, I then decided to buy that house. Now, remember that house I was saying I was inspired by, those big, massive houses? Well, that was in the back of my mind. So as we were planning as a family, we started sketching out ideas of what the house was going to look like, and we found a piece of land near Ruwa called Sunway City. So we bought that land. It was on 1,200 square meters. So it was big enough for us to have a swimming pool, a tennis court, because, I mean, as a family, we love swimming, we love tennis. I mean, even I used to play tennis at school. So we started planning where the tennis court was going to go, where the swimming pool was going to go. We engaged an architect and we designed the dream house. Yeah, and in fact, the dream house, that's what everyone calls it. So as we're designing it, I sat down with the family and we were all happy with how this house looked. And then one day I sat down with my wife and I asked a very crucial question. In retirement, once all the children have gone, how are we going to sustain it? I mean, ourselves financially. That's when I realized that these big houses, at the end of the day, like in my case, I have 5 children. But when these children grow up and start their own lives, we are going to be left with a 4, 5, 6 bedroom house. And it's just me and my wife. Now, how the hell are we going to maintain a house that big? In fact, it's a waste of resources because all we need is pretty much 3 rooms. You know, we probably need the kitchen, the bathrooms, and the bedrooms. Now, what's going to happen to all the rest of the rooms? It's put to waste. And if you really want to say, okay, I want to rent out maybe rooms, well, do you really need a lot of people living in your house like that? I don't think so. That's when we decided that it was a bad idea to have a massive house because at the end of the day, when children grow, they're going to start their own lives, perhaps maybe in different countries. So why are we building this massive house? And I still have that question. And I asked this question because I still see a lot of big houses here. I mean, when you drive around, especially in the northern suburbs. Anyway, so this is when we decided to sell that piece of land and put all that money into farming land. So that's how we ended up with Ruwa Organic. So at least the farming land made a lot of sense. If things got so difficult, at least food-wise, we can live off of the land. Because think about it. You have all your vegetables, your grains, you have all your animals, your chickens, you know, pretty much you have everything. The only thing that you'll need in terms of, in cases of serious situations is perhaps things like cooking oil, soap, and so on, and salt, sugar, because you can't really produce those on the farm. But 80% of everything that you need is already on the farm. Now, the reason why I was thinking along these lines is because I'm thinking retirement. Now, for me, retirement is an easy, laid-back lifestyle, no stress, and it has to be a lifestyle which is not in the city. The reason being is, you know, the city is for people who want to hustle, work. There's so much happening. But in my retirement, I want to be relaxed. I want to wake up, listen to the sound of the birds. I want to wake up, take my walks. You know, that's really what retirement is for me. So that's how we ended up with the farm idea. Now, if you're planning to come to or to retire in Zimbabwe, these are the sort of things that you need to look at. But there's problems. It is very easy for us to look at others and use those people as your benchmarks of how things need to be. As I mentioned earlier on, if you start seeing these big houses and you have relatives here with big houses, it can be very discouraging. But what I'm going to say to you is don't fall into the trap of competing with people in Zimbabwe because some of these people, you don't know how they're getting their monies, okay? I have actually sat down and looked at some of the wealth that people in Zimbabwe have, and it's almost impossible how these people are achieving it. The reason why I'm saying this, it may sound like I'm a hater or I'm looking down on people who are working hard and have businesses and are entrepreneurs. No, I mean, there is monies where you can see that, well, someone has been working hard here, he has a business here, and it is plausible that they can afford these type of things. But there's also other situations where some people have a lot of money and there's no explanation how they got it. And this is where I'm saying you may be setting up your benchmark with the wrong people. A lot of people here, you see, they drive amazing cars, they have amazing houses, but we don't know how they're earning their monies. So don't use this as your benchmark. You're just putting a lot of pressure on yourself, and in the end, you're going to discourage yourself to want to move to Zimbabwe. Now, I still stand by the fact that Zimbabwe is still a very, very good country to retire in. You know, it's really laid back. I love the lifestyle. I love the tranquility. There are also a few drawbacks. For example, if you come over here with a lot of money, it's going to finish, and it will finish fast. You won't even realize how fast it's finished. Okay, even amounts of money like 40,000. If you are in the United Kingdom, we may look at 40,000 as a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. Trust me, that money can just drain just like that. So really, what you need is a way to generate money while you're here on the ground. You need a way to make sure money is coming in and you're not spending so much. So this is where some sort of business is ideal in this type of situation, because once you run out of money, it's very hard for anyone to lend you money. There's no banks to lend you money. Even if you try to get some loans, it's super expensive. So I wouldn't really advise that you think of retiring without a plan or some sort of way of getting money. But if you're on a pension, if you have a pension, that's a good idea. I think you can live off of your pension while you're here in Zimbabwe, and it's very, very affordable. Now, back to the point of competition. Even with cars, you know, it's so funny that if you try to buy a car here, even the prices are crazy expensive. It's unbelievable how there's so many cars here and people are affording them. But anyway, that's besides the point. What I'm saying is, if you want to come here, come super focused, stay in your lane. Don't try and compete with people, and don't focus on what people are saying. People are going to speak. People are going to say a lot of things. Like in my case, I've been in the United Kingdom for over 22 years, right? But people will say, oh, he has a very small house. We were expecting that, for someone who's lived in the United Kingdom would have a massive house, living in the northern suburbs like Borrowdale, Greendale, and so on. But people don't realize that while we're in the United Kingdom, we have a life. You know, I have 5 kids. Now my kids are now in university. I was working hard to give them a very good lifestyle. But people here don't even understand that, and they don't even realize that we have expenses in the United Kingdom. So if you're there trying to fight what people are saying here on the ground, it's going to be really a waste of time. So you need to be very strong to stay in your lane and live how you want to live, and not worry about what the next person is saying. And trust me, you'll also get pressure from people in the United Kingdom or your friends. I've had a lot of people saying, oh, how can you retire on a little tiny house like that? But you know what? The fact that I can open the door into my house rent-free and without any stress about any bills coming, that to me is massive. You know, it's a big stress reliever, you know? So you are going to get people who will be telling you, oh, how can I retire on a little house? How can I do this in Zimbabwe? And they'll tell you a lot of negative things, but there's more positive than negative. But like I said, you have to plan. Now, let's talk about a topic which quite a few people mentioned in my previous videos, which is healthcare. Now, when it comes to healthcare, yes, it is a problem. You cannot rely on public healthcare here in Zimbabwe because just recently, my younger brother lost his 2 kids. I'm sure some of you must have seen the story in the papers. It went a bit viral. Now, what can I say? It's tough. It's tough. Relying on public healthcare, you know, there's a few things which may need to be done where the hospitals may not have, and this can be a make or break. So what I would recommend do is to go private. There are still companies like Simas, you know, healthcare insurance. These are the sort of things you want to sign up to, and there are doctors who are really good. There are specialists here who are really good, but it costs money. So if you require special treatment, yes, those services are here. I mean, they are here 100%, but they're very expensive. I mean, we're talking about tests that cost you in the region of 400, 300, just for simple basic tests. So you want to make sure you have a solid healthcare plan, or you want to make sure you have quite a bit of money just set on the side for those type of emergencies. Because if you want a good healthcare plan, you're talking about $100 a month, perhaps 150, that covers pretty much majority of any eventuality that could happen. So that's the healthcare side of things. But overall, your mindset should be living a really stress-free, debt-free life if you want to retire in Zimbabwe. If you want to come here mingling with all these guys who have a lot of money, trust me, it won't be worth it, because it is very expensive, and the money that we're earning in the United Kingdom or wherever we are in the diaspora does not allow us to do this unless we're doing something dodgy. So I would say, or rather for me, my goal is to live a stress-free life, a life where I'm eating nice food, nice vegetables, organic stuff, because I also care about my health. Now, if you try and calculate, I mean, this may seem like something so basic and something that doesn't even make sense. Something as basic as vegetables. If you have a space and you grow your own vegetables, you'll be surprised how much money you can save a month. So here, let's say a bunch of vegetables is $1, right? Just for your greens. And you also need onions. You also need, say, tomatoes. Now, these three basic things you probably buy on a daily basis. Now, let's say you're spending $3 per day on vegetables. That calculates to $90 a month. Now, do you see how crazy that is? Just that simple calculation, that's $90 a month. Okay, let's say it's not even 90. Let's say it's $60 a month. Still, that's a lot of money on vegetables. Now, for me, I make sure that I grow my own vegetables because I don't want to be spending that kind of money every single month. Same applies with the chicken. Same applies with the eggs and so on. You want to grow your own vegetables, have your own animals. That way you'll save a lot of money. And besides, you're eating what you grew. So it is really, really good. So in a nutshell, what I'm basically saying is it's very easy to fail in Zimbabwe, especially if you're coming back for retirement. So you need to look out for these things that I've mentioned. Don't compete with anyone, and try and just live a basic, simple life. And your goal should be being debt free. One of the biggest problems we have is having a lot of debt. It's so stressful, and as soon as you get some money, it then goes into paying this debt. More money comes in, pays the other debt. More money comes in, pays the other debt. So it becomes a cycle of craziness, and you're constantly stressed because of how the money is moving in and out of your bank account. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comments box below, and I'll really appreciate your comments. Let's discuss in the comments box. Right now, as we stand, I'm still in Zimbabwe. I'm loving it, and yes, it's tough, but I'm learning quite a lot, and everything that I'm learning, I will be sharing in these videos. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again in the next one. Take care.